I actually had very high hopes for this movie because in my mind, there's no way they can get it wrong. At least not very wrong. Like the previous Crows sequels and remakes and whatnot. But you've had a bunch of examples of what not to do. So I figured it's been a long time since they put out a Crow movie. It should be pretty good. Again, because you have all these examples of what not to do. But, man, did they get it wrong. I'm going to start with the positives. The final battle at the very end, and I mean the very end of the film, is pretty good, pretty cool. But every good part of that battle, you see in the trailer. And that is the only positive I have. Right from the beginning, it starts off with no explanation. It's very confusing at the very beginning. Without giving away a spoiler, there's these weird rich people who are the main villains. Very, very weird what they are. I can't help but to compare it to the original. If you're going to call yourself the Crow, you're going to get comparison. In the original Crow, you had these villains who were just street punks, who were just street guys causing mayhem, very straightforward, nothing too weird. Not here. And when I first saw the trailer, yeah, that guy reminded me of the Joker from Suicide Squad. And I kind of like that Joker. To me, Jared Leto, he tried something very different. He didn't want to be like Heath Ledger's Joker, which ironically is kind of looks like the Crow a little. Even though I didn't like the look, to me the Crow should always have long hair no matter what. I still gave it a chance. But yeah, they're like cousins. They're related. This guy and the Suicide Squad Joker. So both him and his girlfriend, they meet in a jail where they house men and women together. I've never heard of a jail like that. Maybe it's out there somewhere in the world. But yeah, they meet. They have a lot in common. They like each other. They fall in love. And that is mostly, I say 90% of the movie is about that. About their relationship. No action. No nothing. It's just a Gen Z drama. You want to talk about cringe? Oh my God. There's just one part that I have to point out. There's a part where they're discussing the famous tattoo that says, smile now, cry later. And I'm not joking. He says, for me, it's cry now and cry later. Like, oh my God, it's just fake depression. Somebody who doesn't know what a depressed person is like, a real depressed person, I mean, real clinical depression. They have no idea what it's like, how to write that character. So they say stuff like that. It's just so cringe. Like, oh God. And his girlfriend's name is Shelly. They kept that name. Wow. Yeah, and I guess this guy's an artist or something. He has a bunch of sad, depressing paintings all over the place. It's just phony. It looks so fake. I don't know the budget of this movie, but it looks cheap. Very, very, very cheap. The jail that they're in looks more like a mall. Like they closed down a mall and let's try to make this place look like a prison as much as possible. It looks like a hospital, kind of institutional, but not a jail. And they escape the jail. They hitchhike, get in the back of a truck, no problem. No questions are asked, nothing. Those people who picked them up must have known there's a jail nearby, so don't pick anybody up. But no problem. Now, with the original Crow, we know that Eric Draven and Shelley Webster love each other. They love each other. We know that. There's a way to convince the audience without just dragging it on and on like they did here. And of course, you know, they make love. We know they do. We don't got to see it. We know they do in the original. Here, they got to show it. There is an unnecessary butt-naked scene in the movie. Like, come on, man. And like I said, the majority of the movie has nothing to do with the Crow, the legend, the lore. It's a love story, if you want to call it that. And man, does it drag. God, it goes on for too long. And, it's in the trailers. There's no spoilers here, but they kill her in front of him. That was different, kind of messed up, but at least it's something different. I get why he wanted to take revenge. And there's also Crow Purgatory in this film. Like when you're stuck in limbo, there's a system now. With the original, we don't know who's controlling what, who sent him. I mean, nobody knows. And that's good. You got to keep it a mystery. Somehow he was granted, or it just naturally happens to where you come back if the soul can't rest. We don't know why. I don't think we should know why. Doesn't matter. Point is, he has to avenge his woman. But right here, they got rules. They got a whole system going. Like, what? Yeah, as far as pacing goes, it felt rushed. Not the Crow part of it, just the movie itself, the story felt very rushed. Tattoos, for some reason, here are a big theme. They're very important. A little too important. It's too much part of the movie. Now, I looked up the actor who played the Crow, and he's from Sweden/England, and I think he's trying to do an American accent. But man, does it go on and off. You could just hear his Swedish accents so many times. Yeah, that guy needs to go back to accent school or something, because that guy was terrible. And like most modern movies, they want to show off their CGI certificate, diploma, I don't know. They want to show, well, look, I went to school for this. I want to show off as much as possible. And yeah, you get a lot of CGI in this. It doesn't look very bad, but it doesn't impress me. It's not as impressive as it used to be. To me, it looks more like just being lazy. Instead of having a big set, an actual location, you use CGI. I got to give them at least one more positive, where the CGI actually works, and they should have used it. The good thing they did, and I wish the original had that kind of technology. But when he gets shot and he heals, it looks really good. It's like they point the camera at the wound and they fast forward in time, and you can see the wound healing itself, vein by vein. All the cells coming together and everything. It looks real good. I'll give him that. It's definitely a cash grab. They threw everything, every positive, every good thing about the movie in the trailer, hoping that they'll make their money back at least on the weekend of its release. They know word of mouth is going to be terrible for them, and these kind of reviews and stuff. So that they're just, man, let's just try to make as much money as possible. Cause I know they're going to trash us, but hey, I predict that people will and should walk out. I can see it happening. Oh, the poor bird, the poor crow. That bird served no purpose in this film. Again, in the original, it had a purpose. It was like his third eye. It protected him, from getting killed or severely wounded. That bird was very important. Here it's just there, just flying with him. Now I got a conspiracy theory, somewhat. I really believe that they filmed this movie with a whole nother title, and someone said, you know what, this kind of looks like the Crow, because he doesn't even have white paint; it's just black oil on his face. So someone said, you know what, use the name The Crow, and people will think it has to do with the original Brandon Lee movie, and we'll probably get more eyes, more people to watch it. And they just threw that bird in there at the very end. They don't really interact, not really. That's my theory. I don't know what city this movie was filmed in, but it's definitely in Detroit. And of course, they had to use CGI blood. Very noticeable, obvious as hell. Sometimes it looks okay, usually doesn't. This one, it does not look good. One more thing I gotta point out, this crow right here is a little more brutal, but unnecessarily brutal. This guy's walking around holding heads, severed heads. Like, what? Last but not least, there is a part in this film where him and Shelly are kissing in between a window curtain. That is so stupid. So dumb. Like, what? There's a curtain in between them both, and they're kissing. And they show it multiple times. Like, I guess we're supposed to, like, look at that and, like, whoa, that's so beautiful. Like, how romantic. Or I don't know what they were thinking we would think, but it looks so dumb. All right, man. So from 1 to 10, I'm going to give this movie here a solid -3. I've never given that low of a score before. My lowest used to be -2. That's a joke, just -1. No, let's go a little lower, -2. This one has taken it even further, -3. I'm not going to do that often. It has to be really bad for me to do that to any movie, but it deserves that score. Is it rewatchable?
Hell no.
Would I recommend it? No. No, 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 no. All right, man. Catch you on the next one.